Hi there, my name is Kaylee,
My name is Shay.
and we're tackling some big debt.
The Big Apple.
Back in the Big Apple.
Yes, we are back.
It's Wednesday.
Not Tuesday.
We normally like to post on Tuesdays, but we flew a red eye from California to New York, from there to those places I said, and
then after that we did a whole
we were sleepy.
Day of work.
We were tired.
And
So we fell asleep at like 7:30.
Yeah.
So sorry, but we're here now. And we are here to talk about travel rewards and YNAB. YNAB is the program you will see around me. It's the budgeting program / software that we use. You need a budget. There's a link down below if you want to check it out. There's a free trial if you want to check it out. You don't have to put your credit card in or anything. We love it. And you're going to see something about it right now. So travel rewards are relatively new in the grand scheme of our lives.
Yes.
Kind of. Like in the last couple years, we've really gotten heavy into that. And basically what that is when you fly with certain airlines, when you use certain credit cards, when you join rewards programs of the travel variety, you earn points or miles or whatever they may call it in that system. And you can use these points or miles for flights, hotels, rental cars in some capacity, all those things. And so basically we use credit cards to pay for everything that we buy for the most part. And then we get those miles from those credit cards and use that to really expand our travel budget. So first, the only way that we're able to do any of these things all together is by having a really controlled handle on our spending and knowing how credit cards work within that.
Yes. A
lot of people, when they first discover budgeting, financial independence, keeping track of your money at all, you'll hear from a lot of other monetary philosophers. How do you refer? Just budget people, internet money people. Dave Ramsey's a big one.
Monetary philosophers.
Monetary philosophers. You'll hear that credit cards are bad.
Yes.
And you'll know, you may have now, a lot of people have and carry credit card debt. If you are someone who struggles with using credit cards in a way that is functional and as a tool, don't do this.
Yeah. Don't do what we do.
We use credit cards as a tool within our finances. We pay off our credit cards in full every single month. If we didn't do that, and we carried credit card debt, this would not be financially worth it at all.
Yeah.
Because if by paying off the credit card and the entire balance every single month, we do not carry interest and we do not pay interest on these dollars. Basically, the way that YNAB folds into all of this is YNAB takes money from, let's say, our bills. I pay this Hulu bill with our Chase Sapphire, which one is it? The Chase Sapphire Preferred card.
Yes. Every
single month. It's on auto pay. It comes out on the first. $7.99 comes onto the credit card as a transaction.
Yes.
And it hits this account. And YNAB takes this $7.99 from this line in my budget and moves it right down here onto the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. And then that money, that $7.99, is available when it is time for that credit card statement balance to be paid in full every single month. So it's just constant. It's happening in the background. That would happen without my input at all because everything is on auto pay. That allows me to, at all times, well, not right now because I have a little bit of overspending, but have the balance of the credit cards ready to pay. So I can have the pay statement balance in full. That happens on its own. I actually sometimes go through and pay these off throughout the month as well. Just because while I'm reconciling my accounts in YNAB, make sure everything matches up. Sometimes I'll just pay it while I'm there.
Yep.
And this is constant. Every single thing that we spend in our life that can be put on a credit card is put on a credit card. Shay's New York Times, the Spotify, all of our subscriptions, all of our date night and groceries, ordering food, everything goes on a credit card.
Yeah.
And then we pay those credit cards off. And that's all happening. And what that does is, depending on the credit card, gives us different points. So we have a bunch of credit cards. Not a bunch, I guess several. So this City Advantage Mile Up card is an American Airlines card. So that gets American Airlines miles. JetBlue, JetBlue. Shay has a few credit cards that do some kind of cash back, I think. That's those we keep a small amount on just because they're her oldest cards. And then we have the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Amazon Rewards as well. So our daily spender card, the one that we use for everything every single day, changes depending on what we're trying to do. So a lot of these credit cards have what's called like a sign-up bonus. So when we signed up, for example, for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card earlier this year, there was a sign-on bonus that if we spent like $3,000 in the first 3 months or something, we got 70,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points just for spending as we normally do. So we are not like there's credit card churners who constantly are opening and closing cards and following a certain number of cards a year for Chase, and they felt like they're absolutely maximizing it out. We don't do that. We get a new card every so often, and then we both just kind of spend on that card with a goal in mind.
Yes.
So, for example, we used this City Advantage Mile Up card for a lot of purchases. We were using this as our daily spender for quite a while.
Yes.
This card cranked out American Airlines miles. My family all lives in California, which means, and we live in New York City, as we said in the beginning.
So we like to go visit them.
We like to go visit them. I like to go at least twice a year.
Yep. This
was not possible for me a few years ago. I couldn't afford to buy the tickets. It's like, it can get up to like $600 round trip to fly there and back and go see them. And then that's not to mention all the food. I would have to, maybe take a few days off work, all of these things. I just couldn't afford it as often as I wanted. So I was going home maybe every other year, once a year when I started making like okay money, and I was spending a lot of money on this. So we were using this American Airlines card as our daily spender, and we were able to accumulate the points. And then we got a bonus of, I want to say this was like 60,000 points or something like that. And then it came time to spend these points. So you're using this card every day. You're spending money in YNAB, paying it off every month. So you're doing the regular spending you normally do. You get a sign-up bonus.
All that good stuff.
All that good stuff. We do fund travel. So don't look at my overspent. Don't look at it. We'll get to that on Friday.
Yes, we will.
But we save, let's say, $100 a month for a trip to California, which is what we're saving right now. $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year.
Yes.
And we live across the country. So if we wanted to go to the American Airlines website and we look and we say, okay, this is flights for one person to and from California. And it looks like there are some options here. We could fly on November 5th. Okay, so we could fly with one stop, JFK to Bakersfield, just me, for $327. That's, what is that, like $650 and some change? $650. That's one trip there and back without spending any additional dollars just on flights.
Yeah.
Or we take those points and it's the exact same flight, 6:30, 12:12. 8 hours and 42 minutes. Little stop in Phoenix. Phoenix Airport was actually super nice. So
it was.
Great stop in Phoenix. For 13.5 thousand points, which is times 2 this is 27,000 points. That's half of the sign-up bonus that we got. Round trip flights for both of us. We do have to pay $11.20. So.
And that's just taxes.
That's taxes or a fee or something. But $11.20. Times 2, that's $23. So we just doubled our travel budget, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because instead of spending $650 on just the flights there and back, we are spending $23. We're able to go see my family and spend time with my family and go see my little cousin play football. All the things that I missed out on because I moved across the country, I now get to be part of 2 full weeks a year with $600 to spend and enjoy myself, just because I put my regular spending onto here. This is actually a great redemption too. Maybe you want to go in November. Another thing that helps with the spending. So you may be thinking like, okay, but if you earn a point for every dollar you spend or something, then it takes forever to accumulate points, which is true sometimes. It does take a little while to accumulate the points, which is why we do all of our daily spending on these cards.
Yeah.
And also the sign-up bonuses help a lot.
Yep.
It's just true. But also, for things like, we've currently swapped over from the American Airlines to our Chase Sapphire because we're working towards an international trip. And so these Chase Sapphire Preferred points, if you look at the Chase Ultimate Rewards, so they don't do miles, but they have these Ultimate Rewards points. There's all these categories where you get extra points for purchases. So for example, when I bought lunch the other day, we got lunch with my brother-in-law and I paid, and that was $52.75, which is a little much, but the food was really good. But we get 3 times points on dining purchases. So we got 158.25 points for that purchase.
Yeah.
So when you're doing all of your spending on things like this, it adds up. Like I reloaded the Starbucks card for $25, 75 points. It all adds up so fast.
And that was one of the things that you really wanted to make sure of with this card specifically, was that we had it when we were on our honeymoon. So that was the spender card that we had while we were on our honeymoon. Obviously, we were eating out every meal, every day, because we were in a hotel. Well, not every meal, but most of them.
Pretty much.
And so we were able to rack up a lot of points because we made the conscious decision to use this specific card for that specific activity.
For sure.
Yeah.
They also have an anniversary points boost. So you can see I opened this card June 11th. And now 10% of all the points that I earn until our anniversary on June 11th of 2025, we will get a bonus.
Ooh.
So throughout the year, 10%, we're also stacking up and up and up. And
okay,
that's great because
nifty.
our international trip we want to go on
is going to be very expensive.
And it's going to be at the end of June or early July.
Oh!
So the
wow.
timing.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'll drop this link down below also, just because we like this one. But
yeah, in terms of rewards, there are a lot of people who say the Chase Sapphire, either the Reserve or the Preferred, are really excellent, and we agree.
Yeah, so far we're really enjoying it, but we also haven't redeemed anything yet. Also, if you're a person who doesn't travel a lot and you're not interested in the travel part, but you're like, dang, this sounds kind of cool, I wish I could do that, there's also options for just like cash back rewards. So you can just do cash back on these things, and you can just cash them out as straight cash and not worry about any of the travel if you're just not somebody who likes to travel. $1 is equal to 100 points. Look at, like,
that's not bad.
75,000 of this was the sign-up bonus. So we are just spending money we would have spent anyway. We didn't do any extra spending because we wanted to hit the bonus. We knew we were going to be getting married. We knew we were going on a honeymoon trip. And so we opened this card with the intent to spend the same amount of money just in a new account.
Yep. Another nice thing about the Chase card is that when you get a rental car, the rewards program covers the insurance.
It's one of the benefits of the card is any car rented, it covers up to like a certain amount. There's a ton of benefits to using the cards. Another reason I like to use credit cards, just aside from all this travel rewards stuff, is just because if something happens to my account and my account gets compromised because I purchased something online or whatever, they don't get access to my entire bank account. Yeah. They have access to what's on that card. And I have never had an issue ever of flagging anything and saying, hey, this is not a legitimate purchase, and I don't get immediately refunded. Like, that's never happened. Yeah. So.
Gives us a little more peace of mind as well.
Yeah. Just a little bit of distance between my personal dollars and scammers.
How long have you been doing this for?
The travel rewards?
I feel like you had already started it when I met you.
I think I had just started picking it up. Honestly, let me make us big so you can actually see us talk. When I first started YNAB in December of 2021 is when I started really understanding how credit cards can work as a tool and not just as something to use until my paycheck came through. Because prior to using YNAB, I was overdrafting and I just wasn't this sounds like I'm just like shilling YNAB, but this is just what happened in my life. I was overdrafting, or I wouldn't have enough for rent until like a few days after rent was technically due. Like I was dropping off my rent check on like the 4th and 5th. And so credit cards to me were an insurance policy when I didn't have money in my bank account. Like I need groceries, but I have negative $10. So I would use a credit card and then wait till I got paid and then pay it off real fast because I was scared to carry credit card debt. Actually, when I moved out to New York, I moved out to New York on a $2,000 limit credit card. I didn't have any money. I just put it all on a credit card and paid it off over a few months, which is crazy because then you have to pay like 28% interest or whatever.
Yeah.
So I started using YNAB in December of 21, I think, and somewhere around there. And the way that they handle credit cards was just like, oh, this money is getting spent right now. Like it just is so clear cut that money moves out of a category because you spent it. It is set aside for paying off the credit card. And it just really cracked open my mind on what was possible with credit cards then, because I had always heard about all these credit card rewards and cash back and all this stuff. And it just never occurred to me that stuff like that was possible in my financial situation. But in the last 2 years, my financial situation has changed pretty drastically, but I still was able to use the rewards and get the points and travel more and see my family more before I started making like better money.
I was just wondering because it felt like that was something that had kind of already been set up and was in place by the time that I met you.
Which technically is true, but only for a few months.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was that recent.
So we took a road trip too early in our relationship for going on such a long road trip. But we drove across the country and I used credit card rewards to fly us and my friend Elijah back from that trip. So we rented a car, drove to California, visited my family. As you can see, that's very important to me. And then we all three flew back to New York after dropping off the car.
Yeah.
And that was the very first trip that I ever used credit card rewards on.
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the very first time that I ever used travel rewards. Because literally before that, in order to see my family, my dad would have to buy my flights home. And that was 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Very recent in the grand scheme of things.
That's crazy.
So we're not maximizing super aggressive, using credit card rewards to pay for every single thing in our travel that we do. But even still, it has had a major impact in what I am able to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm able to pay off my debt and see my family twice a year. And both of those things were extremely important to me. And before I would have to choose. Or I'd have to choose between like groceries and seeing my family. And groceries won pretty much every time. So there was a period after I moved out here that I didn't see them for probably 2 years. And that just wasn't cool with me.
Yeah.
Or them. Which is why my dad started paying for my flights. But being, in your mid-20s and your daddy have to buy your flights, it doesn't feel good.
No, certainly not.
So
yeah,
that's how we use travel rewards to really crack open my whole life and be able to, Shay has a relationship with my family and we live 3,000 miles away from them. So it's very personal to me. It means a lot to me, which sounds silly because it's credit card points, but being able to take $1,200 and turn it into multiple times per year cross-country travel, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you could do that for leisure trips and go see fun things. And you can use the Chase points for hotels. You can get a hotel credit card. Like, there's so much stuff that we haven't even gotten into yet. And there's people way better at this stuff than we are.
Yeah.
Way better at this stuff than we are. I cannot stress enough. But
yeah,
that's what we're doing. Drop some success stories below. There's also people who don't use credit cards at all and don't want to. And that's totally cool. And we love and support you too.
And that was me. That was me before I met Kaylee. In a big way. And it worked for me and my lifestyle at the time. And since then, I've grown and changed and my priorities have shifted now that I have, a wife whose family lives across the country. My priorities have grown to align with yours. So, things change. Things change.
Yeah. Drop some credit card reward success stories or trips you want to plan around in the comments below.
Yeah.
And we will see you for our budget
on Friday.